Hi there, and welcome to the Daily Gardener, an almanac of garden history, literature, and small botanical joys. I'm Jennifer Ebling, and today is July 27th. Abraham Lincoln once said something I always think about when it comes to iteration in the garden. He said essentially, I want to be remembered as someone who always plucked a thistle and planted a flower where I thought a flower would grow. Now, a lot of people hear that and they think, oh, I need to take out all the invasives and put a new and better plant thug in their place. But I don't think that's what he was saying. I think what he meant is incremental progress. We can't have a 30-year garden the day we start gardening. It takes 30 seasons. That's why old gardeners tell you to plant trees first, because you can't accelerate the growth. Even Steve Jobs said it was the one thing his money couldn't buy: mature trees. Horatio Honeywell said the same thing. He married the woman whose family name Wellesley comes from, the town and the college. He was insanely wealthy. And he once said, I have something the Rockefellers can't get right now: a property filled with mature trees. So back to Lincoln. You see a thistle, you put a flower in its place. You make it a little better each year. Gardening is expensive, and most people just don't have the wherewithal to get everything done in one season. But we make a little progress on the north side of the house, and then we make a little progress in the south garden. And then we come back up and we tear the whole north side up the following year, right? It's a never-ending project. Last month, I had to rip out an entire zone of plants. I cut the big roots of my arborvitae spots, and I'm still crossing my fingers they survive that. All because 20 years ago, I started to bury the drip line that I put in that zone. It was a rookie mistake. So pluck your thistles, plant your flowers, make it better year over year. And over time, it all accumulates. Here's today's garden history. It was on this day in 1777 that the Scottish poet Thomas Campbell was born. He was the youngest of 11 children. His dad was 67 when he was born. He published his long poem called The Pleasures of Hope when he was just 21. And when he died in France in the summer of 1844, he was buried in the famous Poets' Corner of Westminster Abbey. Here's a little excerpt from his poem called Field Flowers. Ye field flowers, the gardens eclipse you, 'tis true. Yet wildings of nature, I dote upon you. For ye waft me to summers of old, when the earth teemed around me with fairy delight, and when daisies and buttercups gladdened my sight, like treasures of silver and gold. And it was on this day, in 1824, that Alexandre Dumas, the French author and playwright, was born. His dad, who had the same name, wrote The Three Musketeers. But the son was an even better writer than his dad, and he published the romantic novel La Dame aux Camélias in 1848, The Lady of the Camellias. He needed money, and he quickly adapted the novel into a play. And then 5 years later, it became the basis for Giuseppe Verdi's La Traviata. In it, the main character is named Marguerite, the French word for daisy. Alexander wrote, her delight in the smallest things was like that of a child. There were days when she ran in the garden like a child of 10, after a butterfly or a dragonfly. This courtesan, who had cost more money in bouquets than would have kept a whole family in comfort, would sometimes sit on the grass for an hour, examining the simple flower whose name she bore. And finally, on this day in 1909, the English gardener Alan Chadwick was born into a wealthy upper-class Edwardian family. He loved acting and plants. When he was young, his mom hired the famous Austrian philosopher Rudolf Steiner to tutor him in horticulture. He taught him the labor-intensive double-digging technique, and it became a cornerstone of his gardening practice. Alan traveled the world before he finally settled in Santa Cruz, California, where he taught biodynamic farming, double-dug beds, compost, intensive planting, and no chemicals. He said, "The reason for all of it is simply that I love beauty." In his final days, he lived at Green Gulch, a Zen Buddhist farm in Marin County, surrounded by organic farms, and was buried beneath a Buddhist stupa, or memorial site. It's time to grow that garden library with today's book, Garden Voices, A Year of Gardener's Writing, edited by Claire Massey. This week, we're celebrating Garden Voices and Anthologies Week here on The Daily Gardener, and that means that we have 5 days of books that bring together many perspectives, reminding us how varied garden writing can be. And today's book is brand new. It was published just this past March, and it's an anthology organized by the calendar, my favorite kind of book. An entry or two for every single day of the year, drawn from diaries, letters, and articles that span centuries and continents. Claire Massey is the author of the best-selling Secret Gardens of the National Trust, and she works as a publisher for the National Trust in Oxfordshire. She spent what must have been an extraordinary amount of time gathering these voices into one place. The result is a book that you can open on any morning and find someone who was there before you, in the garden, at that same time of year, feeling something you recognize. There's George Orwell, half naked, digging his newly acquired rock-filled dry-as-a-bone garden on the Isle of Jura, May 25th, 1946. And there's Emily Dickinson, picking the last flowers of summer before Jack Frost gets them on September 25th in 1845. Georgia O'Keeffe writes to Alfred Stieglitz in New York to tell him she has just discovered the joy of gardening. And there's so many more lovely selections here, from Samuel Pepys, Charles Darwin, Sigmund Freud, Queen Victoria, Virginia Woolf, Claude Monet, Gertrude Jekyll, and Vita Sackville West, just to name a few. And then there's this one I wanted to share. It's from January 1st, and it's by a writer named Barney Bardsley. He said, "If winter is in your heart, and not just out the window, there will always be something in nature to soothe you. It's just the way it is." Becoming a gardener is first and foremost an act of the imagination, of hope. And hope is not just a feeling. It's a muscle which can be developed even in the most wintry of spirits. A great little entry there for January 1st. Garden Voices, A Year of Gardener's Writing, edited by Claire Massey. A book to open every morning for the rest of your life. And finally, here's something sweet to ignite the little botanic spark in your heart. It was on this day in 1876 that the American entomologist and nature writer Edith Marion Patch was born in Worcester, Massachusetts. She was brave, precocious, and loved nature. In kindergarten, she was distressed by a story about the Cecropia moth. The story was filled with lies. Even then, she knew that the Cecropia flies at night, that the adult moth has no tongue at all, and that it never visits flowers. From that moment on, even at that young age, She vowed she would educate people about the natural world and that she would always tell the truth. By 19, after she won an essay competition about the monarch butterfly, she used the prize money to buy a book she wanted desperately, A Manual for the Study of Insects by John Henry Comstock of Cornell. When she graduated from the University of Minnesota, she applied for entomology work throughout the country, but no one would hire a woman. Her only offer was unpaid, and it came from Orono, Maine, after 2 years of looking. She jumped at it, and then she broke through barrier after barrier. She got her doctorate at Cornell, became the world's authority on aphids, and took a seat to hear lectures in rooms that were for men only. And they let her. In 1930, she became the first woman president of the National Entomological Society. In December of 1936, she gave a speech in Atlantic City, asking her fellow scientists to consider the true cost of pesticides. This was 25 years before Rachel Carson's Silent Spring. And she described what the year 2000 would be like if pesticide use continued unabated. She envisioned bare plant catalogs without plants that were pollinated by bees and hawk moths. She also predicted bird and insect sanctuaries and gardens protected by proclamation of the president, where no caterpillar could be killed. Later on, she wrote about a girl who came upon a bluebell beside a river, but deliberately chose not to pick it because she said the people who love flowers most pick them the least. 10 years later, the girl came back and bought the land the flower was growing on. Edith was writing about herself. She called the 50 acres that she bought along the Stillwater River in Maine Braeside, a Scottish term meaning bank of a river. And in addition to the many wildflowers that grew there, she said she always grew milkweed as an invitation to the monarch butterfly. That was Edith Marion Patch, the author of 15 books for children and 78 scientific papers. She died in 1954. Braeside still stands on College Avenue, on the line between Orono and Old Town, Maine. It was added to the National Register of Historic Places in 2001. Edith's insect collection is held at the Maine State Museum in Augusta. Today's book was Garden Voices, A Year of Gardener's Writing, edited by Claire Massey. It's probably my favorite new book of 2026. Thanks for listening to The Daily Gardener, and remember, for a happy, healthy life, garden every day.